You're listening to the Journey to Launch podcast. Swing trading as a side hustle so you can pay off debt, save, and reach your money goals. Okay, Journeyers, I'm really excited. I say that every time because I am. Come on, I am excited each time that I come on this mic and talk to you, but I'm really excited because this time I get to actually speak to real life, true Journeyers who are going to kind of talk about their journey in learning something new, trading. And so I had Terry on the podcast. Episode 154 was the first episode she joined me on, Terry E. Gioma, where she talked about her journey to learning how to trade and then starting and having a course and platform that helps people do it. And then I did something very different. I actually joined forces with Terry and did like a joint webinar and class to help introduce more of what she taught to you guys, to my audience. And that was really scary for me because I was like, here I am, like kind of, handing or trusting my audience with someone else, teaching something that I'm not familiar with, which, like that's puts a lot on your reputation about doing something like that. But I knew from having her on the podcast and meeting her a couple of times that she was like legit and her content was good. But I was like, I still want to hear from people who actually went through it. So we had that last round, had people go through her course, Trade and Travel. And then I wanted to actually speak to you guys to get the real tea on what it's like to have gone through it, to make the leap. So I want to have everyone introduce themselves. So this is actually also being video recorded. You may hear my kids in the background because, working from home life with them is crazy. But I want to have you each go around and say your name, where you're from, and kind of like how you got introduced to Journey to Launch. And then we'll take it from there. Crystal, can you please go first with introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Crystal. I'm from Chicago. I started listening to podcasts probably in 2017 when I started my end of my debt journey, and I started listening to Dave Ramsey. And I came across Journey to Launch probably in fall of 2018. And the first episode I saw was the one, or listened to was the one when you talked about quitting your corporate job, your long commute, and all those hours. And currently I was in the car at 5 a.m. in the morning on my hour plus commute to work. And ever since then, I've been hooked on the podcast. And I'm also part of the Launch Club.
Yay. Also a member of the Money Launch Club. Okay, great. Thank you for introducing yourself. Shamicia, what about you?
My name is Shamicia, and I'm from Olive Branch, Mississippi. I started listening to the podcast very similarly. I think we all kind of start the same way because I was listening to you and learning how, you kind of started to listen to podcasts on the commute to work. And the same exact thing happened to me. I started with Dave Ramsey as well. And then I started listening to your podcast. And originally, this journey started with me wanting to, become debt-free, start to invest. I just graduated college. So it was just, ways to kind of start my life into investing and learning more about finances. But now, it's turned into, investing and being financially free and not having to work, similar to your story. So that's a little bit about me.
Love it. Love it. And then last but not least, we have Shayna. Hi, Shayna.
Hi, my name is Shayna McGregor. I guess I'll just put this out there. I'm Jamila's little sister. So I've known about Journey to Launch from its beginning stages. I remember when you were unsure if you wanted to do it at all, and it started as a blog, and then it kind of transitioned into a podcast. So I've been there from day one, and it's been so nice to listen in, to read, and I get a lot of my financial advice, inspiration from you. So excited to be here.
Yes. And so not only are you all journeyers, but you also joined Terry's Trade and Travel course. So as I said, kind of in like the intro, my biggest thing was, okay, I wanted to see like results from people who actually like were going through it. And I think I even shouted you out, Shayna, on the webinar. So I really also wanted you, Shayna, to be a case study, just because as I know you personally and, your goals in life, and thought this would be a good opportunity to have you be like one of them. So I'm glad that you were able to join this roundtable discussion. But what I really wanted to do was understand like what prompted you to even join, right? her course, Terry's course, Trade and Travel, because it's an investment. It's not only a money investment, it's a time investment. And she's very upfront with that, which I love, right? Not just like, oh yeah, I'll just help you do this and it's going to be quick and easy. But what made you feel like you were ready to learn this and to do this? And Crystal, you can go first.
So I've been debt free, except for my mortgage, probably for about 2 years now. So I have kind of been, okay, what's next? And I toyed with the idea of real estate and realized it was a time commitment. And I still work 9 to 9. So I still work a regular job. So when the trade and travel came up, it was a couple of things that happened. When the market went down in March because of the COVID, I already have a lot of assets in the market, but just like in retirement accounts. And I feel like I don't have that much control of the fluctuation. And I really think because you introduced us to that course is one of the reasons why I took a chance and did make the financial commitment.
Yeah, and I actually like that you made that distinction about trying something different, because you were in the markets. And yes, you're right. When like you're a buy and hold like person, like similar to myself, it's more like you kind of ride the market wave up and down. But then you hear of this other world in which, wait, people are actually making money on the downside and upside. Like you can trade. I think the whole point of introducing Trade and Travel to my audience was to give you guys another option of how to do things, right? And so, Samisha, what made you want to like invest and do this thing that's different?
So I started with real estate investing, and it's definitely a hustle and bustle. And so, with listening to podcasts, with listening to your podcast, I was able to discover Terry. And I think at one point she said, this is a great time, because of COVID, this is a great time to start trading. And I was like, okay. And she was like, everybody was talking about, let's take advantage of this time where we have more free time, because I've been working from home since March. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I've always wanted to learn how to invest in the stock market. And I think a lot of us want to see that return quickly. So the best way to do that is trading. So I started trading, or started to decide to learn with Terry, because she just seemed, compatible to the way that I wanted to be taught. We see a lot about trading like on YouTube and things like that. And it just seemed impossible from the podcasts that I've listened to and the videos that I've watched, but it just seemed like it would work. So I just went ahead and tried it.
Yeah, I love that too, because you'll hear there are other people teaching like this same thing, right? But their style is totally different. And sometimes, it's who you resonate with, and some of it is more flashy based, and some of it is more like an aggressive approach to teaching, or so I totally get like syncing with someone. You're like, wait, I think I can learn from this person, and so super cool. What about you, Shayna?
I agree. Funny story. It was our mom who listened to your podcast episode with Terry, and she was very adamant that I had to listen to it and I had to enroll in the course, because she just thought it was something that I would be able to do. And I've had a few long-term investments, so I was mostly buy and hold, and I didn't really put much effort into it. I would just look at it every now and again. But once she said that you can make a livable income, and we were in COVID, I'm a dancer and a fitness instructor, lost a lot of my jobs. So I was like, this is the best time to jump in. And I fell in love with Terry. I think most of us, that's just how it starts. I can tell that she was very knowledgeable. She knew exactly what she was doing, but you could just, when you're on a call with her, you could just feel that she's a good person. So after I joined your webinar, I was like, that's it. I have to join the course. I have to make it work. I have to find this money for the course somehow and enroll immediately. So that's what I did.
Right. And let's be real, even though you're my sister, you do not listen to every episode. Okay. Like, so our mom had to force her to listen to Terry's episode. But, let's talk about the investment piece of it, because, I find that like, I don't know about you guys, because while I did not join Terry's course this go around, maybe one day I will. I keep saying I will. Anything that I feel like I invest in, like I definitely pay more attention to, and the price point matters. Like if something is like on a cheaper side, or it's not that much money that I'm like giving up, it's not that I won't take it seriously, but it's a different commitment than when it is something that is, okay, this took a little chunk out of this saving or whatever it took. So how did you guys reconcile that? Because I know Shayna, like you said, so you're, in the arts and dancer, like for you, you didn't have as much like income coming in. So how was that to invest in Terry's course in that way? What did that feel like? And how do you feel about it now?
Well, it was definitely an expense that I wasn't planning for. And I do like to plan and prep, but I can be a bit spontaneous. And when I'm intrigued in something, I'm intrigued. So I just waited some time, I saved up a bit. And then once I saw that she had the webinar, I literally joined that night. I think it was more getting my head around the fact that it was something that was amazing to invest in. Because I don't mind making the investment if it's worth my time, especially because I knew that it was going to be a return. I knew that after learning from Terry, one, because I paid for the course, I was going to learn. So I had a goal by the end of the summer, even if it was just a little bit in my live account, to start to make those returns and then eventually even pay for the VIP course.
Right. Oh, so we should make a distinction. Terry has like a level, like I guess the introductory level. And then if you want more to learn options and then to get more one-on-one time with her, there is a next level, the VIP level.
Right. There's a trade and travel and then there's the VIP.
Okay, cool. All right. What about you, Shamisha, in terms of the investment?
It wasn't difficult at first because that was not my first time investing in something that would return, because I did the same thing with real estate. And so I was like, okay, well, that worked. I think this may work as well, especially with the way Terry's vibes were. I was like, I'm sold. But what also I did, I said, it is right what you said. If something is a higher price point, you can tell, especially if you feel like that person is very genuine, you can tell that it's for a reason. It's gonna make you more and beyond. And so what I did is kind of funny. I love numbers. I love math. I calculated, okay, what can I flip this to? If I start with this amount, what can I flip this to in a year if I really put the time and dedication in it? Once I realized that, I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer.
Love that. Okay, what about you, Crystal?
Well, I will tell you, I'm very conservative. So I think if I was still in debt, and I still do have my mortgage, but if I was still in debt, I may have had a more difficult time making that decision. But just from listening to different podcasts, the message is you have to invest in yourself. So I've been telling myself that, but I just hadn't found the right niche. And I also listened to the webcast that you had with Terry. I had listened to her on the podcast, and I was hoping you were going to do something in the launch club, and then you did the webcast, and then that night of the webcast is when I joined.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up with the debt, right? Because I also, a lot of people joined, journeyers actually had joined that go around with Terry, and I'm sure people just in general join Terry's course. And what comes up, I think, for people is the people who still do have debt and things and goals they're trying to reach, right? Because typically I would say like Terry's approach to like the trade and travel is based on trying to like trade for income. So like you're trading
Correct.
to earn money. It's not like trading long-term and to keep it long-term. It's like trading to earn money so that you can pay off your debt, or trading to earn money so that you can have extra income to save for whatever thing you're saving for, or invest more towards retirement. You're literally using that money for income. So for someone who is still in debt, right? How would you help someone decide if they should take that risk or if they should continue on their debt payoff path? Like, well, you know what? Like I have credit card debt. Maybe this isn't right. Like how does someone make that distinction? Because I have people who've done that, have credit card debt and they're fine. And some people are like, they have credit card debt, paid for the course and like, oh, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. So how would you, whoever wants to take that, how would you walk through that thought process?
I'll take it.
Oh.
Okay, Shayna, you could go, and then Shamisha.
Well, for me, before I did the course, I did have a little bit on my credit card. So for me, it was important to pay that off first because I have student debt, but I'm ahead of it and I know how much I have. So I don't mind having some student debt with the course, but I made sure for me, it was important to pay off my credit card before I did the course because I just didn't want to have both of them. So that was important for me because I think some debt you can have as you start to invest in yourself, but it depends on the amount and your plan to pay it off. So if you invest in yourself, but it completely takes you behind your plan to pay off your debt, or it's something that's going to continue to accrue too much interest per month, then I would say maybe not do it. But right now, student loans do not have interest. So of course I was like, let me do this course. I can continue to pay off my student loans. Credit card, not so much. So I think it depends also on the interest rate of your loans that you have.
And you, Shamisha, what are your thoughts?
It was very similar. I think it depends on what your goals are. So if it's to tackle that debt and you know you need to be focused on the debt, then take care of that first. But I also think it's if you have that mindset, whereas I'm trying to, launch myself forward so that I can tackle this debt and do more, I would say investing in the course is amazing, because for me, I think it's going to help with being able to pay off that debt so much more quicker. Because for me, it's student loan debt, and it's a very small amount. But instead of waiting, 15 years to pay it off, or whatever the case is, or 7 years, I can pay it off so much quicker because I invested my money first, and then was able to make more to pay it off in a lump sum.
Now, ladies, I want to talk about what you're actually able to accomplish, right? With taking this course. So we talked about, the other stuff, but let's talk about receipts. Let's talk about what has happened, the transformation for yourselves after investing. And Crystal, if you want to share kind of what you've been able to do, you can start.
So I took the trade and travel class in June, and I did do practice trading while we were in the course. And then we had a break in July. So because I initially signed up for trade and travel, but then I upgraded to VIP, which is what I'm doing right now. So during that break in July, I traded in my practice account, and I was able to make $4,000. And I also started trading in my live account, but I'm using less money. And I was able to make a profit, kind of, same percentage wise. So I had a $30,000 practice account, and I made $4,000 off that $30,000 in a month.
Nice. And and there's a difference between your simulator account and the actual account, right? So Terry teaches you first to trade money in the simulation account.
Right. So in June, while I was in the class, I was only using my simulation account. And initially, because that's the practice account, I really did okay in June also, once I got the hang of it. But July, I decided, okay, we have a break. I'm going to concentrate on the method and see what I can do. And I made $4,000.
Wow. And so 4,000 was in your simulation account or the real account?
Yes. No.
You're like, no, not yet.
So I have started in my live account, but I haven't put as much money in there yet.
Right. Okay. What about you, Shamisha?
So I started in the sim account as well. I think I did maybe 2 trades in the sim account, and I was like, oh, this is working. So I immediately went into my live account. I started in April. So April to August, I was able to almost double the amount of money that I invested. And so my goal with that was to say, let's go for what Terry says is achievable, which is, you're able to increase your account by 20% each month, that 1% a day. And so that's what I'm trying to be consistent in, because, what I realized is the power of trading is in compounding the amount that you have. So you can turn a really small investment into something that's paying you more than your full-time job, or more than, your full-time job pays you in a year, which would be amazing. Obviously have not gotten there yet, but that's the goal. So I think when I started the program, my goal was, let's just make some money, but now it's let's keep compounding this thing until you're satisfied.
Right. So to clarify, you are trading now with your real money and making returns.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Shayna?
Similar, I started in my sim account, and basically Terry teaches us the goal is $1,000 in a day. And I hit that, I believe, right after graduation. So July 1st, I had my first return, and it was about a little over $2,000. So once I realized I could do that, I had the tools. Then I moved into my live account, And similar to Crystal, before I moved into my live though, I made sure I brought the $30,000 down to reflect more of what I can actually do in my live account, just to see also it shifts my goals. So I didn't want to have the same goals with 30,000 as I would have with less. So once I realized I can continue to make it with less money, I moved into my live account. And it's been in my live account for about 2 weeks. I actually had my first profit today from my live account. So that was literally about 30 minutes before this. And I was like, look at that. And I was very excited. I had my first loss a week ago, but Terry teaches us risk management. So it honestly was not too bad. It was more just the fact that it happened that at first I was like, whew. But in reality, it truly was not bad because I knew exactly how much I could potentially lose. So it was right in my bracket. And then the profit I made today was probably double, triple that. So it's really not that bad at all. So I'm really excited. And then same, I just want to continue to let it compound because I'm starting with a small amount. And honestly, in reality, the more money you have in your cash amount is the more profit you're going to make. So that's my goal as well.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up that you lost money, and that was in your real account, right?
That was my real account. And I was like, whoo, here we go. This is happening. I mean, honestly, if I'm just being real, it was $20, but still, I was like, okay, this happens. This is why everything she teaches us is important, because if I would have just went off of like a whim and bought any amount, it could have been so much worse.
Right. So you got to stick to the plan that's laid out for you. But I do like that we're also talking about there is a chance that you lose money, right? This is investing. There's no reward without some level of risk. But I think the most important thing is that the risk, teaching you about the risk management part of it. Right.
100%.
Yeah. And so, I think I also want to be real with people with that too. It's just I think all you ladies, you put in the work to actually learn what Terry teaches. It's funny because I asked her previously, who are your students that do the best, right? And she was the ones that listen to the course, to follow directions, and who re-listen to it and really take that time to learn. And, when you're investing in this way and you're serious about it, and I think anyone, I hope that invests in this way, it's they're serious. It's not something you're just oh, I'm just going to play around and do this. No, this means you've made a commitment to yourself to learn something new, that you are taking the proper precautions, because this is, while you are starting in a simulator account and it's not your real money, eventually the goal is to make back what you invested in the course, and then earn money for your goals and life. So there's going to be a level of risk here that you need to accomplish. The other thing that I think is pretty cool is that I'm sure I have actually my best friend, Shalia, who hopefully listens to this episode. She also joined when you guys joined. And she's, I don't think, started in her real account yet, but I know, and she's getting up to speed, right? So I think also it takes people different, depending on your life and the commitments, right? Different timeframes to be ready to be ready for the real kind of real money trading. So do you kind of want to maybe talk about that transition? Because I think it is different between investing in the simulation account and then getting ready to invest into real money. So who wants to take that one? Let's raise you. Okay, Crystal.
So I still use both accounts, actually. I still use my simulator account and my live account. I think I am more conservative in my live account, so I'm trying to get more comfortable in it. But I am seeing profits. But I mean, Terry always talks about we are going to have losses. There are days that the market just doesn't do what you expect it to, and you'll have a loss. But in net, you want to come out ahead. And over these last couple months, I feel like even if I have a loss, I can make it back. When I saw that market go down in March and I saw the value of my account go down, the money that I'm using is no comparison to that value that I lost and I had no control over, because that's kind of what we've been taught, right? You put in your retirement account, you hold it, you hopefully get a 10 to 20% return. But if I can kind of do 20% per month, you're gonna outweigh anything that you're doing in your hold account.
Right. Now, the other benefits, I remember I was talking to Shayna, like I was saying, oh, Shayna, I'm doing this roundtable discussion, you know, do you want to be a part of it? And she had mentioned, like, she was talking in all this terminology that I didn't even understand. And I was like, okay, so even if you never even started yet in your real trading, like, I can already see the growth of concepts. And I'd love you guys to speak to it because you experienced it. Things that you have no clue what it meant, like candlesticks. I don't know those. What camp charting candlesticks? Like, I don't know what else. But I was just so impressed when Shayna was talking, and I was just like, see, like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. So the fact that you even know that says to me that, like, you know, your mindset, your point, or the set point for your understanding of investments are different. So who wants to like talk through what, like, the learning part of it?
I'll speak on that. I mean, one, Terry, she's an amazing teacher. So the course itself is really digestible and easy to follow. And for me, like doing long-term trades, I kind of just looked at the number, but I never really looked at the charts. So even before I started, like, I love math. I loved it in high school. So I knew that I can do it, but it was definitely a new concept. And she basically teaches you like a couple of things. Of course, what companies to look into, what kind of stocks to buy. Risk management is huge. And then she gets into technical analysis and looking at charts. And when you first look at a chart, like a lot of us, I just started with the line graph. I'm like, that's easy. You can see it go up, you can see it go down. And she's like, no, we're going into candlesticks. And the first time I looked at those, I was like, what is that? But it's incredible. She's so thorough. And like she teaches us, even if you don't get it within the first week, keep looking back at it. She also has all these bonus calls where she has group calls, and we can look at all of them, even past calls, with also other people who are very knowledgeable in trading as well. And by the time she took us through it, even the first week, I was like, I understand this. Because I'm also a very visual person. So she has a lot of visuals. She gives stories, she gives analogies. Like, I remember I was telling a friend, like, Terry says, the way you don't chase men is the way you don't chase stocks. And it was like, it's funny, but you remember it. So sometimes now when I'm like, oh, I missed that stock, I'm like, it's okay, there'll be another one. Like, it's really the mindset also that she teaches you within the course that prepares you to move from your sim to your live account. Because I am more conservative of my live account as well. I mean, it's our real money. It's not like $30,000, but in a simulator that, okay, if you lose, it's okay. This is our real money that we're working with. But I think that the mindset portion of the course really helped me to be able to make that transition and to feel comfortable and patient, because you truly do have to be patient. And that's something that I have to work on, but one of the things that I've learned so much, and also not to trade with your emotions. So that was one of the biggest things I had to learn. Being a creative, like, I feel like I step out with my emotions all the time. And with trading, it's the opposite. She's like, base it off the charts, not off of how you feel. Don't get too frantic. Like, I taught you, so trust me. And that was a huge, like, stepping stone for me.
I just came up with a new catchphrase: base it on the charts, not your heart. See, Terry, you got to pay me for that tagline. Based on the chart, not your heart. Okay. What about you, Shamisha, in terms of like your transformation, whether it's like mentally about understanding this stuff, how's that been?
Yeah, it was a huge transformation. I'm the same way. I started trading on Robinhood. I'm sure everyone kind of starts there with investing in stocks nowadays. But Terry, she taught us to use, a more robust platform. And when she started to, the same, show us candlesticks, I always wondered on Robinhood, like, what is this for? Like, what is this feature? Who looks at this? But it's just immersion. I learned, I've been learning Chinese for 5 years, and it's the same thing. It's like, it's way off the beaten path as far as stocks. It's a new language. But once you immerse yourself into the curriculum that Terry has, it just becomes, it becomes second nature very quickly. And so for me, I mean, from day 0 to, week 1, I was able to understand terms that I would hear on the news and would be like, what is this? What are they talking about? So the transition, it was pretty quick for the way that Terry teaches, because she's very clear. So it's not something that you hear one time and you're like, what? You start to understand, because she continues to kind of relay that message of what what trading actually is and the terms that you need to know.
Thanks. What about you, Crystal?
To transition to my
learning, just like, yeah,
oh,
well,
her
or
learning,
yeah, like what you've learned, like did you learn something different about what you can do, like mentally?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So for someone who's been investing for 20 years, you know, I didn't know what a candlestick was. I think Terry teaches very clear and concise. She makes it, I think, in layman terms so that you can understand. And the other thing, just not just Terry, but the whole network that you get access to, and the other students who have been there longer, or even the ones that you're learning with, you can ask each other's questions, and people are very receptive and, you know, try to explain things.
Yes.
That's in the coursework. Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about what your goals are. What do you want to get from not just Terry's program? I mean, obviously that's a big part of our conversation, but what you're working towards, like where you currently are on your financial independence journey, and what you're looking to accomplish. And because I think that will actually help other people who can be like, yeah, I'm at that place too, and I'm looking to do that too. So Shayna, if you want to talk about that.
Well, based off of your journey or stages, I'm in the cadet stage. So basically I'm trying to pay off my debt, pay off my student loans, increase my income. I think that's my biggest goal, and increase my portfolio. But my goal in the course is to basically be able to increase my income and have a livable income that's consistent. Being an artist, I can't always depend on that income, but I love what I do. So I never wanted to go towards a 9-to-5 and be stuck in a job that I dislike. I'm always about following what's my passions and my purpose. So I feel like, one, I fell in love with trading. Like, I get intrigued about trading. I love the stocks. So I love that I can continue to dance and do fitness, but have on the side something that I'm very passionate about that actually makes returns that I can know that I can live off of. So first, increasing my portfolio, and then be able to have consistent livable income that is much more than I have right now. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Shamisha?
My goal originally was just to make more income, but then when I realized the power of trading, my goal has transitioned to being able to, leave what most people, well, not most people, but when people start to invest, a lot of people, they like to leave the corporate world. So that's the direction that I'm headed, and to be able to travel full time. So before I started working corporate, I actually studied abroad. And when I got back and I started to work full time, I was like, wait, so I only get, a week to travel? How am I going to do that? So once I realized that trading would allow me to travel but still make income, that kind of became my shift to where now I want to travel full time.
Oh, love it. Love it. Okay. Crystal?
So my current goal is I'm trying to become work flexible. I am currently in corporate America with the long commute, not right now because of COVID. So I use this course as an extra stream of income. That's what I'm hoping to use it for. And since I do still have my mortgage, if I can be successful, I'm going to focus on using the extra income to pay off my mortgage to get to that goal.
Love that. I feel like I definitely need to have like an updated conversation with you ladies in a year to see and dive more into your individual stories, because that's the thing. That's why I do love talking. I know like this is also like a big, by the way, no one was paid for this interview. Like everyone's really speaking from the heart of with their experience with trade and travel. But I think too, just what I'm really trying to connect with, hopefully if you're listening to this or watching this with you here, is if trading is something you're interested in, check out Terry's program. If you're not ready, that's fine too. Or if you want something different, that's fine too. What I see as a trend, or just something I'm pulling out from each of your experiences so far, is that investing in yourself and taking like educated and safe risk in the grand scheme of things, right? You're not investing your like mortgage or like your last dollar, but like you're taking a risk to better yourself and invest in yourself. I think for anyone I've seen, like that is the path forward. whether it's Terry's course or just investing time to sit down and like read a book or buy something else that's going to help you get to the next level. I feel like that is, I hope, what I can impart in people like watching and listening, is that make the time and energy and space in your budget, in your life, to invest in yourself. And so with that, do any of you ladies, I'll just go around. Is there any kind of like last words of encouragement for anyone who is thinking about this course or just thinking about their journey to financial freedom and need some encouragement? What would you say to them? Shayna, you can go first.
I feel like if you have that inner voice inside of you telling you that you want to try something new, especially if it is this trading course or something else, I say go for it. There's always going to be a little bit of a financial burden per se. I say that with air quotes because you can surpass it. You can't get past that, but you have to invest in yourself first. And then once you do that, whether you get exactly what you thought you wanted, you've grown by taking that jump. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to get out of our comfort zones and try something new. And you never know what is at the other side of just going for it. It can be that you're staying in trading for 5+ years, or you meet someone, you do something completely new because of it. So I would just say go for it.
Great. Shamisha?
I would say whatever you work on can come to fruition. I think that there's always a lot of doubt and will something work, but I will say if you put the work in, it will work. And trading is a great way to do that if it's been something that you're looking into, because it's not a lot of time involved with swing trading. I'll say there's not a lot of time involved, but there's a big reward. So I would say go for it.
What about you, Crystal?
And I will say, this is a skill that you can use whenever you want to. You know, if you don't have the time now, if you learn it, you don't have to do it consistently. You could do it, you know, when you decide you have more time to invest. But it's definitely a skill that I never thought I would learn. I wasn't necessarily interested in trading, but now that I've started, you know, I've fallen in love with it. I love it.
Yes, love it. Okay, well, thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time to share your experiences. I'm so glad to actually see your faces. I know, like, it's always kind of cool when I have people. I'm always talking to myself usually. I mean, I have an interview and guests, right? But like listeners, actual people who listen, like I know you're out there, but it's nice to like see your face and connect with you in this manner. I know not all of you may be on like social and like public, but if you are and you want kind of like other journeyers to root for you, if you do share your journey, I'll give you the opportunity to like share that now. So Shayna, I know you got, you know, Shayna's building her brand. She's building her brand so she can make some money off of that. So what is your Instagram, Shayna?
Absolutely, you know it. So my Instagram is @shayna.mcgregor.
And what do you talk about? You talk about inspirational stuff on your and here, right? That's like your niche right now.
So I share dance, fitness, and just life inspiration. I eventually want to get into life coaching, so that's something that's also been a passion of mine. So I've been slowly starting to integrate that within my Instagram.
Awesome. I'll link that in the show notes. Does anyone else want to share any social handles? It's okay if you don't want to either.
My Instagram is @MemeLee_, and that's MEMELEE_. And yeah, I'm here to talk about trading. I'm not too comfortable with sharing my journey yet, but I think I'll get there because it is important. But if you want to hit me in the DMs, we can talk about trading because I love it.
Awesome. And Crystal, you want to share or you're good?
I'm not a social.
Okay. Hey, listen, that is totally fine. Not everyone is meant to be like, you know,
not yet.
All out there. It's fine. Listen, everyone's journey is not meant to be the same, but I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to share in case people wanted to, you know, hit you up or just follow you and support you on your journey. So once again, ladies, I really thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.